Thank you for calling the Social Security Administration. This is Chris Blackwell.
Thank you for calling the Starkville Social Security Office.
Your call is important to us. Our website, www.ssa.gov, is the best way to get help. You can do many things online at ssa.gov, like apply for benefits. Also, with a personal My Social Security account, you can get an instant benefit verification letter. Check the status of your application, and most people can request a replacement Social Security card. If you come to an office, we may not be able to serve you that day. We may schedule an appointment or phone call for a different day. Find out which offices are closed or open by appointment.
Price increases at a much higher level from some of the biggest competitors. So this year alone, Chanel increased prices 13%. And it's the American business. The product is actually starting to look like it's somewhat at a discount to the biggest competitors. So we ultimately think that there's more to come in terms of pricing.
I think discounting is a relative term here. I strike here that the Berkeley Bank is the ultimate sort of good. The higher the price, the more value it seems to get ascribed to it.
Press or say 1 to continue with your call. Press or say 2 to hear these options again. Press or to ensure that you receive accurate and courteous service. Your call may be monitored or recorded. Please listen to all options carefully. Our menu has recently changed. To hear field off, please hold.
Is actually significantly higher than the new price. And so when you have such a big gap on the secondary market to the new market, it actually tells you that there's probably quite a long way to go. You know, we're talking about some price points for the secondary market being more than double. So we possibly buy that bag in the retail store. I think the issue, if you will, in terms of that gap is that the scarcity element, which means that it's almost impossible to just walk into the retail store of Hermes and get a Birkin bag. You need to go on a wait list, you need to put your wish in, exactly. You need to be an important customer, and that kind of drives and fuels incremental desirability within this brand. And therefore, the secondary prices.
When call volumes are high, your wait time may be up to 15 minutes to speak to a representative.
But actually taking a step back, 50% of their revenues come from non-leather, which is apparel, it's shoes, it's watches, jewelry, and it's this part of their business where we think that the price points versus many of their competitors are at a significant discount. So, you know, I'm going to give you an example of a pair of women's sandals. At Hermes, 560 euros. Exactly. Not exactly cheap, but that's almost 50% cheaper than what it would cost you to buy a pair of sandals at Chanel today. So we do think that there's quite a lot of pricing, and also one element that we didn't talk about is mix. And mix is this idea that the seasonal product comes in at a much higher price point. So it's the combination actually of pricing and mix, which is going to be quite powerful. I don't know if you listened to the LVMH result call last time, but LVMH was saying the biggest factor driving the strong performance for fashion leather business for them was mix. And it's this idea that you walk in and you buy the seasonal variation at a higher price point.
I was glad to okay, so it's okay. I don't need your nuts. Good. Actually, before I let you go, I do want to get your read though on the U.S. I appreciate that it's the least amount of its revenue for Hermes and the total pie. But is there a possibility that if we do wind up seeing the U.S. consumer holding, which we're getting some indications of in some earnings calls and the top line, how much of a catalyst could that be if things aren't as bad as we may think?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it is actually very topical. It's one thing that luxury investors do worry about in the sector at the moment. I have to remind you that luxury demand peaked on an underlying basis.
I'm sure they told you why I called. There's an ALJ, the status of an ALJ case that was filed for November the 22nd. I haven't heard anything about. And someone sent this notice April the 6th, 2023, that obviously has false statements in it, and you already know it. This is James Blackwell, right?
Uh-huh.
All right, let's get to it.
What appeal are you talking about?
November the 22nd, 2022, I filed an appeal online. that should be at the administrative law judge level. And as you know, any other appeal that I filed since then can just be consolidated with that appeal, because apparently you've just been sending me random notices since I filed that appeal, and I've been appealing each of those notices because they have nothing to do with what's in the appeal I filed on that day.
What this notice you just got, when was this? Who was this in?
April the 6th, 2023. The last time we spoke, you were contacting the payment center 7, to find out what months were deducted Medicare premiums for almost $300 in the last month. You said you contacted them and that I would be getting a notice. Then I spoke with Ms. Cribbs, and Ms. Cribbs said on April the 5th that they were sending me a notice dated April the 6th. I have that notice in my hand, and it doesn't say anything that you said that they were going to say. What it says was, as we told you in our prior letter, we reviewed your case and found that you do not owe us any money. Now, I haven't gotten or ever even dictated a letter like that to you. I don't have a letter that says that. So can you tell me what this prior letter is?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't tell you I was going to contact the payment center.
I didn't say that either. That's not what I said. Let me ask you again. Do you have access to this letter dated April the 6th? All right.
Okay, so Phil, they sent you a letter from Baltimore.
And you know this like I know this. I got on a lot of planes. You just, even though that voice in your head is saying, oh God, I'm so tired, I don't want to do this. You got to show up. You got to be charmingly relentless. You have to build emotional endurance.
So they sent you a letter. I'm looking at it.
Is I try to create serendipity.
Are you telling me this because you're I mean, it doesn't appear to be a lengthy letter to me. Are you telling me this because you're prepared to discuss the letter now?
Well, I mean, you're reading it just like I am, and it's stating what it's stating. That's all I know.
I have questions. Do you mind? Are you who can assist? Who can assist me with questions about this letter?
I have no idea. What kind of questions do you have?
Well, a question for one about the statements that are in the letter. As I can read to you, as you see, it says, as we told you in our prior letter, we reviewed your case and found that you do not owe us any money. I do not have a letter that is a prior letter that says that. As a matter of fact, the last time I spoke to you, it was because the Social Security Administration had taken $400 out of my check for Medicare premiums, saying that I did owe them money. So I don't have any letters saying that I don't owe any money. I also have a statements that are here that says what the payments are, but don't even list what Medicare premiums are being deducted anymore. So can you explain to me what prior letter that you was reviewed and that was sent to me?
I can't tell you what prior letter it was. I don't
Who
know
can?
what prior letter it was.
Then who
I have
can?
no idea.
Then who can? This letter came
I have
from
no idea.
someone at the Social Security Administration, did it not?
They've sent you a bunch of letters in the last few months.
Right, but I don't have one. You hear me? Do you hear me saying I don't have any letters that say I do not owe, that I don't owe us, or what this says, us any money. I don't have any letter that says that. Every letter that I have has a deduction on it, including an overpayment waiver that was applied by Administrative Law Judge Rebecca Sauter. So I don't have any letters. Everything, all my records say that I owe the Social Security Administration money, and I have a hardship waiver applied to the balance of nearly almost $14,000. Now, this letter says, as we told you in a prior letter, we reviewed your case and found that you do not owe us any money. You're saying that you don't know who in the Social Security Administration can identify that prior letter.
No.
All right, moving on to the next question. I'm moving on to the next question. I don't care why you can't find that person. I'm just asking you if you can find that person, whether or not you have. All right, it doesn't matter to me. You're my servicing field office, right?
Yeah.
All right. So any assistance that I need with access to information from the Social Security Administration, I'm supposed to get it from you, right? All right. And you are not able to tell me anything about a prior letter that I should have received where the Social Security Administration found I don't owe $14,000. You don't show that letter anywhere.
Well, I see you have an overpayment, but they stopped it. They stopped the collection.
Why did they stop the collection?
We got that corrected. Hang on, let me go back and look.
All right.
I know you did have an overpayment on your record.
Uh-huh.
And I think me and Miss Crawley discovered that it had already been proved to be done away with. Let me go back and check.
This bitch literally treats you like you're fucking dumb.
$13,900 waiver that was way back a few years ago, and we went back, looked through your records, me and then Miss Crawley looked behind me, and we discovered that you had filed a waiver on that overpayment, and then it got approved at the ALJ level, but the payment center never had went in there and waived it or canceled it out. So we sent something to them.
I
Payment center
cannot.
go in and have that waived.
Do you hear? Do you hear this shit?
So
Do you hear this shit?
Anything anymore as far as that waiver goes? It's been taken care of.
It's been taken care of.
Yeah.
All right. Can you send me a notice that says? Can you send me a notice that says what you just said to me over the phone?
I try to get you something sent out
When can you send it?
when I get a chance.
I'd like to have a document that says I do not have a balance of 13.
You should have, if you got documents, you should have your waiver.
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. Have you filed a claim on my behalf that says that the payment, the waiver is inapplicable? Because that's not what I filed, is a waiver for just for hardship. The waiver I filed was an overpayment appeal, is what I sent to Miss Crawley, that stated that it was if you'll allow me, go ahead, interrupt me. Go ahead. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so they didn't know back then when the waiver was approved by OJ, the PC never took action to do away with the waiver. So when you started sending these appeals and sending some information into the payment, we sent to the payment center, they found that overpayment still on your record. So they went in and were going to try to collect it. That's why the benefits got stopped. So
are you aware that I am the person that told them to remove the waiver?
No, listen to me. I'm trying to finish what I've got to say.
Go ahead.
So So the appeal. So you should just appeal in because they stopped your benefits, collect this waiver again. I went through your records and dug through your records and found that it had already been waived in the past. That appeal you have now filed on this waiver really doesn't matter anymore. Because the waiver has now been taken care of.
So do I you're telling me that all my claims that I have filed, including the one that I filed on March the 13th, that you have stopped those claims?
I don't know where they are.
Okay, can you find out? Can you find out? Can you find out? Can you find out where those claims are?
I'm sure they're still at the payment center or wherever we sent them.
Okay, can you find out now? March 13th.
March 13th, what?
2023.
What you filed then?
I filed an appeal. I filed an appeal of the notice that I received. A reconsideration first level appeal.
What was it concerning?
The notice I received. Let me look. March 13th, it looks like. Yep. Looks like they noticed that I got March 13th.
Who's that notice from?
I only discuss notices from the Social Security Administration. And since you've got, if you'll allow me, and if you'll allow me, since you've gone through this process of creating fake false records at the field office and not processing my claims that say you are creating false records, all my notices say that they're coming from Baltimore. I've maybe had a couple since then that say that they're coming from the Starkville office. But ever since that I have made the claim verbally over the phone that you are intentionally creating false records in my name for salary kickbacks, I've been getting these notices from saying that they are from Baltimore. I'm not discussing the kickbacks, sir. The kickbacks are the argument for kickbacks should have been filed in my claim. Those were the claims I filed. My claims were changed to say something else. These issues are supposed to be reviewed by a judge, not by you and I. But again, my question is, what is the status of that appeal? Now, I can tell you the date. Say that again.
I don't know the status. It was put in there. It was put in the system for somebody to work. I don't know.
When was that?
Well, I see something here, reconsideration on March 14th.
And when should I receive a notice regarding that?
I have no idea because we sent it to the payment center.
All right. So
Their jurisdiction to work it.
All right. So let me ask you, the Social Security Administration has a Form 1133 process. Does that process give the claimant the right to say that the Social Security Administration itself is creating a forged record using an inapplicable overpayment waiver?
That don't make any sense.
If I believe that the Social Security Administration is creating false records by using an inapplicable overpayment waiver to what I have claimed as an overpayment, can I use Form 1133 to submit that claim for an underpayment to the Department of Treasury?
What overpayment are you talking about?
Sir, on March the 30th, 2015, I had an interview with Miss Crawley where I informed her that I did not have a review of unsuccessful work attempts from my original application, and that someone at the Social Security Administration did not use the date from the ICER that was supplied from the Department of Treasury and submitted a false date for when my disability actually began to accrue injury from unsuccessful work attempts. And since then, no one has rectified the underpayment since 2007. I have not been able to return to work on the ticket to work that was issued to me on the overpayment waiver because I have an underpayment. And right now, you are on the phone saying it. You just said that you and Miss Crawley went and reapplied the overpayment waiver that I have already informed the Department of Treasury is inapplicable because all my claims are related to an underpayment, and I do not have any notices from the Social Security Administration related to that claim since 2015. Not one. Can you show me a notice that says Zori Rush claimed an underpayment? Do you have a notice that says that? That's I'm not having the discussion. I'm not asking you this over the phone, sir. I'm asking you to file the claim for an administrative law judge to decide whether or not what you're saying is right or what I'm reading in the rules is right. You say this over the phone, but I read in the Social Security Administration rules specifically where the Code of Federal Regulations says that my right, the right that I have to correct my records says that if I notice that there are group 2 decisional deficiencies in the record and there is no new evidence to be introduced into the record, then I should receive a notice within 10 days saying what those corrections are and why you refuse to correct them. You haven't done that. You just keep getting on the phone saying you don't have an underpayment. I know, because they've hired you to block my rights.
There's nothing to give you. There's nothing to correct.
Okay.
They found you disabled going back to 2014. They're not going to go back to 2007 and find you disabled.
Are you telling me this on behalf of the Social Security Administration? Are you telling me this on behalf of the Social Security Administration? Are you telling me this on behalf of the Social Security Administration?
Well, I guess I work for them.
All right. Well, can you write that down and put that in a notice that I am not going to get a review of my request of my underpayment claim? All right. All right. Well, pursuant to Title 20 of the Code of Federal. Go ahead. Pursuant to Title 20 Code of Federal Regulations, sections 401.65. Pursuant to, may I speak? May I speak? Pursuant to Title 20 Code of Federal Regulations, sections 401.65 on how to correct your records, subsection B, since submission of Form 1133 to the Department of Treasury, no new evidence to be changed in the claimant folder and identification of Group 2 decisional deficiencies established in a written grievance as an inapplicable opinion on a determination of facts by a reviewing component, that does not deprive the claimant of a right to a notice within 10 days of requesting corrections to information transcribed into the record from self-employment income information provided by the Department of Treasury that proves intentional alterations, deletions, and amendments by Social Security Administration employees. Now, are you telling me that I am not entitled to a notice from the Social Security Administration that says we are not going to review unsuccessful work attempts back to 2007? That's what you're saying.
Yes, because your work attempts happened before we found you became disabled. You became disabled according to our records 2014.
I'm not asking you that, sir. I'm asking you about my right to a notice. I'm asking you about my right to have you write this down so that I can appeal what you're saying.
There's nothing to review. There's nothing to change.
Can you write that down? Can you write that down?
No, because you know when they happen, because you already have all your paperwork.
I do. I have all my paperwork to prove. I have all my paperwork to prove that the Social Security Administration has not reviewed unsuccessful work attempts and that you are attempting to do it over the phone. That you are attempting to do it over the phone and refusing to send the notice that is required.
Nothing to review, nothing to send you. You already have your information. You became disabled in 2014. You worked before that. We can't go back to 2007.
Do you have a note? Do I have a notice that says what you're saying over the phone? Do I have a notice that says what you're saying over the phone?
No, you're not getting a notice.
All right. May I speak to your manager or supervisor about what you just said?
You know who he is? If you want to talk to you're more than welcome.
You're live. As you know, you are live across the world right now, and I am watching the world by what you are saying. I know it. All right. So I'm waiting on the appeal that's already been filed. If you can look at it yourself, you can see I've already filed it, and I'm waiting on the notice from the Social Security Administration, and I'm waiting on the Department of Justice to take you to jail. The line is yours right now. I'm getting proof that you are the reason that the Social Security Administration's Disability Trust Fund is being drained for salary kickbacks. I'm not getting off this phone without getting a damn notice. So you get the hell off my goddamn phone, and I'm waiting on the process, and I'm putting your ass in jail. You better get a better fucking attorney than the one that you are, because you're a fucking idiot if you think you're going to get away with that shit you just pulled. Hang up the phone, faggot. We go nowhere from here. All I needed was to get proof that you said that shit, that you gonna say shit on behalf of the Social Security Administration and not send a goddamn notice, that you are the reason that this whole goddamn trust fund is sinking, you lying bitch. Get off my phone, bitch. Get off my phone. I'm sending your ass to jail. Get off my motherfucking phone. Sit on that motherfucker. Every hour you catch a goddamn check in my motherfucking name on my motherfucking time is another motherfucking year you spend in that motherfucking jail. Now, Mark locked that on your intranet. And he's still live on this phone at 1-800-305-6919. And I'm still waiting on the notice from this faggot to say anything that he said on this goddamn phone. And I guarantee you, you won't find one at the Social Security Administration, and you won't find one in that motherfucking box over there. But you sending the president to jail. This bitch can do whatever the fuck he want to from Starkville, Mississippi, no less. But you sending the president to jail. This faggot can take the whole motherfucking disability trust fund for veterans and tank that bitch from Starkville. Bitch killing motherfuckers from Hooterville, Bell Fountain, Upora, Starkville, building damn cities and new businesses and inviting motherfuckers in like crazy. This bitch over here killing every goddamn body so he can pay his employees to lie on the motherfucking phone. And you buying it. SVB Bank is part of the Disability Trust Fund. James Christopher Blackwell is on the bitch on the fucking phone right now, draining that bitch, proudly draining that motherfucker. Saying nothing, just allowing it to be narrated to the fucking public, that James Christopher Blackwell, looking a lot like the former fucking governor of this state, Mr. Barber, who thinks some black citizen ought to file a sick claim. That bitch on the phone right now saying nothing, getting paid from the SVB. You a dumb bitch. You a dumb bitch, you a dumb bitch, and you a dumb bitch for taking this shit. Now, you could take this bitch to jail and keep your SVB, but pay this bitch for this shit. Call this freedom and democracy when this bitch said, I'm going to say something on the motherfucking phone, but I ain't going to write it down on a piece of motherfucking paper. Call that democracy. Buy that bullshit. Told you already, Terry Neely. Am I allowed to say that the Starkville Social Security Administration employees are creating false records in my damn name? Am I allowed to say that I've had unsuccessful work attempts where I walked in there and filed their damn application? This bitch says no, and I'm not gonna write it down. Now ain't there a fucking law that says that nowhere. But this bitch on this motherfucking phone with the whole power of the United States retirement savings for the Navy, the Army, the Marines, the fucking Air Force, the Coast Guard, the police officers, the judges. This bitch on the motherfucking phone holding it hostage. And you come sending motherfucking cops over here looking for me. The faggot is right there. Send more cops, faggot. Because I'm charging your ass. I'm a capitalist. You run that. You run that social service fund right there. I'm a fucking capitalist, and not only am I gonna take you to jail, I'm gonna show the fucking citizens why capitalists get to protect themselves in Mississippi unto death.
Are all moving in this direction.
You don't get away with genocide in this motherfucker and not pay for it.
It is influencers. It is celebrity. It is a game.
Mr. Blackwell, you won't get away with genocide in Mississippi and not pay for it. The only way you're gonna do that is kill Zori Rush again.
Bright House Financial, build for what's ahead.
Bring on elect. This is WLBT First Alert Weather.
Still a wet one across central Mississippi right now. You see the rain falling on this side.
News starts now.
It comes from Rankin County, where crews have been dealing with.
I'm gonna allow this bitch to stay. I will close this live chat when this faggot hangs up this fucking phone. But until then, you paying for this fucking faggot. You gonna pay for this faggot, and you're gonna take your goddamn president to jail for not paying for this faggot. Because I checked the rules, and your president said the one you're taking to jail right now, he said, don't get that faggot no money. And I still agree with him. Let the president go and go get this faggot. President don't do shit but work 8 damn years walking around making sure everybody doing their damn job right. That's the only thing this bitch got to do, and he ain't doing it.
This game early on, but as Cameron.
The short-term relief is basically it went without a technical glitch, and there was not as much selling of ETH after this, so that's why Ethereum's breaking through 2,000, and the whole space is actually, frankly, doing decent. But it's important to understand why it's doing so well and who's buying it.
This bitch is killing fucking military people for a paycheck. These people get paid to protect us, not sit in a room and fill out goddamn applications. That ain't their job. This bitch's job is to sit in a room and fill out an application. He got promoted to go and check and see if other bitches was sitting in a room filling out motherfucking applications. He ain't got a goddamn job to determine what go on the application and what don't. He think he do, but that ain't his motherfucking job. But you gonna get off my phone, faggot. We through. I'm putting your ass in jail. Get the fuck off my phone. Don't you say shit to me, faggot. You have the right to remain silent. And any fucking thing you say can and shall be used against you. One of us go to jail, and when I get there, there's going to be a fucking counterclaim to take your motherfucking ass to jail. So either way, bitch, you call the cops, send me to jail, get that counterclaim, or I get free from this motherfucker and go to court my goddamn self and take your bitch ass to jail.
Because it is, after all. I know we've been getting a lot of questions from our audience and investors about all of this information in the air. So
This is WLBT First Alert Weather.
And from there, we'll let the judge decide whether I have the right to this earthly desire to hang your ass on Oxford Square.
Patrick, this is just something we're going to have to deal with.
News starts now.
It comes from Rankin County, where crews have been dealing with a burning 18-wheeler for much of the morning. 3 on your side was on the scene at Highway 43 and Highway 25 in the Sand Hill community.
Now go tell your friends.
A northbound section of 43 had to be shut down while crews from Lake Harbor and Rankin County worked to put out the fire. The driver told us nobody was hurt. The cause of the fire appeared to be a mechanical issue. The truck was hauling pine straw.
When last you were on with us, it was the afternoon that SVB collapsed, and you were going to come on and talk about what we're talking about right now, and we got sidetracked. And of all the volatility in recent weeks in markets, the industry's access to funding, what are you?
Save on your next road trip with Budget. Rent your next car with Budget and save up to 30% off base rates. Plus, receive 10% back and an Amazon gift card when you prepay. Visit budget.com, click on offers, then partner offers to learn more.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. With the money you save, we tried electric unicycles.
I think I got it.
Doggy paddle, only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I'm thirsty.
Try this.
Start.
It's a lemon lime soda that's crisp, clear, and
So refreshing.
oh, yeah. It was a soda. Sorry, lemon lime soda. It's different.
I do have to ask you, my impression, and granted we've been here for 48 hours, but the IMF paints a very gloomy picture for the global economy. When you look at Europe, obviously the data changes a lot depending on the country, but they say the risks are very much tilted to the downside. Are you feeling?
Spruce, which is a public blockchain, permission only by the KYC, KYB.
By all means, trade, motherfucker.